I'm not telling this story to scare you. I'm telling it because what happened to me still doesn't make sense. This happened in 2021, when I was living alone in a small rented house on the edge of a rural town in India. The area was quiet and isolated, surrounded by empty land. At night there were no streetlights, no traffic, and no sounds except insects and the wind. That night I was awake later than usual. Around 1:30 a.m. the power went out. That wasn't uncommon, so I didn't panic. I turned on my phone flashlight and lay back down, planning to sleep. That was when my phone rang. The screen showed an incoming call from an unknown number. I ignored it at first, but when it rang again, something about it felt wrong. I don't know why, but I answered the call. There was no voice on the other end, just breathing, slow and steady like someone standing very close to the phone. I said hello twice, but there was no response. The breathing stopped, and the call disconnected. I stared at my phone for a moment, then locked it and tried to convince myself it was a prank. Less than a minute later, my phone buzzed again. This time it was a message. It said, "Why didn't you recognize my voice?" My stomach tightened. I typed back asking who it was. The reply came immediately. It said, "I'm outside." I turned off my flashlight and listened carefully. The house was completely silent. No footsteps, no knocking, nothing. I told myself it was just someone trying to scare me. Then I heard movement near the front door. It was faint, like someone shifting their weight. A few seconds later, there was a slow knock. Just one, calm and deliberate. My phone buzzed again. The message said, "Don't be afraid. You already invited me." That didn't make any sense. I hadn't invited anyone. I hadn't spoken to anyone at all. Another knock followed, slightly louder this time. I stayed completely still, barely breathing. After a long pause, the knocking stopped. I thought it was over. Then I heard my name being spoken softly from right outside my bedroom door. The voice sounded calm, familiar. It sounded like me. I stood up slowly, every muscle tense. My bedroom door was closed. I knew I hadn't locked it, but at that moment I was grateful. The voice spoke again, asking me to open the door. I didn't answer. My phone vibrated one last time. The message said, "You shouldn't have listened." Suddenly everything went quiet. No breathing, no movement, no phone vibrations. A few minutes later, the power came back on. The lights flickered, revealing my empty room. I didn't sleep at all that night. The next morning I checked my phone. There was no call history, no messages, nothing at all. I checked the front door. It was locked from the inside. There were no footprints outside, no signs anyone had been there. I tried to convince myself it was stress or exhaustion. 2 days later, I found out my neighbor had gone missing. He lived alone, just like me. The police said he left town suddenly. When they searched his house, they found his phone on the bed with a cracked screen. The call log showed one outgoing call made at 1:32 a.m. to my number. I moved out of that house the same week. I changed my number and stopped answering unknown calls. For a long time, nothing happened. I started to believe it was finally over. I was wrong. Last night, at exactly 1:30 a.m., my phone lit up again. Unknown number. This time, I didn't answer. The phone stopped ringing after a few seconds. I sat there in the dark, listening, waiting for something to happen. Nothing did. But just before I tried to sleep, I received one final message. It said, "You're learning." I didn't reply. I turned the phone face down and left the room. I don't know what would have happened if I answered that call. I don't want to know. All I know is this: if your phone rings late at night and the number is unfamiliar, don't answer it. Some calls aren't meant to be picked up, and some voices don't need permission to enter.